Hey Matt, thumbs up if you can hear me. Thank you.
Can everybody hear me all right?
Yeah, I hear you, Tyler.
You're good.
Chris, is that you on iPad 7?
Yep.
All right, Mary, if you want to get started, it's 6 o'clock. As people start coming in, they can catch up.
It's gonna be about 2 minutes for me, Tyler. I need to finish. I need to finish dinner up for my daughter. How about that? Plus, I'm actually texting with a new guy who's trying to get on, so I want to make sure he either gets through or doesn't. If you don't mind, everyone, 2 minutes.
That'll work.
You watch the names that are on and just tell me Richard Walters or some random. But he's still in Canada, so he's hoping that it actually.
While we're waiting for Mary, is everybody getting the WhatsApp messages? Do you have your notifications on? Does anybody need any help walking through on those?
So Tyler, just a question for me. So I select them and I've got two that show up in that group, and one's the basketball and one's the football. Does that mean I'm linked then?
Yeah, you're on both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, for basketball stuff, we'll send it out on the basketball. For football, we'll send it on the football.
But you can see me on football because I
Yeah.
must have signed up last year. I didn't remember doing that, but
Yeah, and I might have added you automatically, so it might have just gone because you were a part of WhatsApp. So as long as you're getting the messages that are being sent out on the WhatsApp, that's all I, care about. And if you've got the if you're good about checking them, great. But some people have to turn on the notifications like they're getting a text message, and it helps.
Tyler, are you going to be in Battle Mountain on Saturday?
As of right now, I'm planning on it. Yes.
Okay, because I just have questions about receivers and being covered up and ineligible if they're not covered up. So just if we can get together like that.
Yeah, I was in a different screen. Who had the questions?
Hugh did.
Hugh? Yeah. If you can, I was gonna try to have everybody try to plan to meet over there. We usually do around 8:30, do a little pregame, quickly help answer any questions. It's gonna be pretty semi informal. We're out there to see plays and kind of help them answer any questions that they have going into the season. Pointing those types of things out to coaches about being ineligible is going to be the way to go on those. You can throw a flag. coach asks you what's the flag for, then we can tell them we're not going to be marking off anything. The white hats are they're not reporting or doing any of that stuff. We're just resetting the ball. We're trying to get them as many plays as they can in before the season starts.
And for
Now on the 13th, that might be a little bit different. The one that they got going over in Wells, I think that's an actual scrimmage or an actual game where, correct me if I'm wrong on that, Alden.
I haven't heard the format on that one yet.
Okay.
They do intend to play it as a game, other than, they have told me they don't intend to honor any objections that we make.
Okay. For anybody that's going over there, I would think that still with the heat and stuff, I would think black shorts or the football shorts would be sufficient as long as you're full geared. Gym shorts, I would stay away from, but if you have a nice straight pair of black golf shorts or something like that you wanted to wear, or the Smitty football shorts that we wear out to the football, the Spring Creek football stuff in the Little League, then you can wear those.
Which one's this for? I stepped out, sorry.
That would be for that. If you end up going over to the Wells one next Wednesday on the 13th.
I was wanting to wear my bike shorts.
Those work too. Just make sure they're long enough.
Speedos?
I can tuck my beanbag in my Speedos.
Plenty of beanbags in your Speedos.
Yeah, for those of you that are just jumping on, Mary's trying to get one of our new people logged on correctly and finishing up dinner, so just bear with us for a little bit. Any other questions that people have coming up? Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna open this up and go. It doesn't look like he's getting on here. He's in Canada and he can't get his cell phone to work with Zoom. So we're just gonna go and then kind of go from there. I'm gonna run through some of these guys. I'll acknowledge things like, for instance, this mouth protector. We're not going to talk about this because it doesn't go into effect until next year. Just know that if a coach or a player asks you about that, just tell them to talk to their administration. Doesn't go into effect till next year. Okay, so we're not going to waste a bunch of time on it. Also, arm sleeves, they don't go into effect till 2027. There's any number of people that are freaking out about that. Tell them the same thing. Talk to your administration. There's nothing they have to worry about, but we have plenty of time. We don't need to drag ourselves down answering uniform questions that don't affect this year. So we'll start here. Fixed electronic signs, non-audio with play signals are allowed to communicate from the sideline. So you guys see this picture in video here, and I should have asked, everyone can see this video?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So fixed electronic signs are allowed to communicate from the sidelines. Scrolling graphics, video footage, connected audio communication are all examples of the use of illegal equipment if this were a between the 9-yard mark conference. Now, this is something that they're updating a lot of the words around in NFHS. This has basically been what it is, but it's a refresher that we need to make sure that we're just, paying basic attention and knowing the rules on this, as this is the coach's responsibility to ensure that they don't violate these rules. Also, in illegal equipment, there is any video, which would be camera device, or audio, which would be a microphone, worn by a player during the game is illegal. Any. Even if they tell you it's not working or whatever else like that, anything, any of this is illegal. Before we move into the rules side, any questions on the uniforms and you know, them using electronics and stuff like that? Any questions there? Okay, pretty simple. Okay, so we're gonna run through this, guys. Most of this is it stayed exactly the same. Most of these slides we go through, they're just versions to show you some different examples, some different wordage. So don't freak out that there's 9 million changes. This is a change though. When a forward fumble in the field of play goes out of bounds between the goal lines, the ball shall be returned to the spot of the fumble, and the game clock is started on the ready for play. However, when a forward fumble in the field of play goes into Team B's end zone and is rolled out of bounds, the ball is not returned to the spot of the fumble because it did not go out of bounds between the goal lines. This play continues to result in a touchback. So it's important to know where your out of bounds is. It's important to communicate on that. Where your assigners will work with you on your proper mechanics for how they want you to present this forward. I know that they said some of this is in the book and some of it is not. In Steve Rower's, sorry, it's not proper to call it his, but you understand, the official's manual for the state of Nevada. When a backward fumble in the field of play goes out of bounds between the goal lines, the ball shall be spotted where it is ruled out of bounds and the game clock is started on the snap. Okay, so just these are read through, understand, refresh yourselves. A muff going forward does not qualify for the exception and would be placed at the out of bounds spot and the clock started on the snap. Okay, so this is clarifying that a muff doesn't qualify for that exception in the first slide we read through. When a forward fumble by Team A from Team A's end zone goes out of bounds between the goal lines, the end of the run is in the end zone, and the result of the play depends on who caused the ball to be in the end zone. If the momentum exception applies, the forward fumble exception would not apply, and a safety would not be awarded. When a forward fumble by Team B from Team B's end zone goes out of bounds between the goal lines following a change of possession, the end of the related run is where possession was lost by Team B, and the result of the play depends on who caused the ball to be in the end zone. If the momentum exception applies, the forward fumble exception would not apply, and a safety would not be awarded. Okay, so what I can tell you on this, conversations we had with coaches meetings, conversations that have been had in other associations, et cetera, is when you have these things, it's important to mark your fumble. It's important to know your direction, and then it's important to talk and get it right as a crew and be decisive as a crew before you communicate to your coaches. Okay, any questions and or comments from any of our members and or assigners? No? Okay, Marquez, I see he made it on. Oh, and DeAndre. And Scotty, okay. Pause 1 second, check all my messages, make sure I didn't get anything. No Jerry Hall. So we have everyone I was expecting. Okay.
Jerry Hall will not be with us this year.
Yes, that's how I just said. No Jerry Hall. So that handles that. Okay, illegal participation penalty enforcement was revised. Rules 9-6 penalty 10-4-4B was deleted. Okay. The elimination of 10-4-4B have clarified and standardized penalty enforcement specifically with regards to illegal participation fouls. The penalty for an illegal participation foul has been standardized as 15 yards, live ball, basic spot enforcement. This rule change does not allow a team to gain an advantage by entering and participating during a play. Any questions? Okay, we don't do 6-man. Jersey markings, this is on here. We'll have another slide on this too. NFHS wants just to make sure that there's no problems that anybody runs into when you come out on the field. Understand that they are allowed to have this mascot now. Okay, so they can have a mascot on there. If you feel for some reason that there's something wrong with their jersey, then what you should do is submit a uniform report. Okay. Editorial changes. These are all just changes to verbiage and sometimes changes to where they're located within the book. This added in as defined in 216.2H to tell you where to go look for it. Anything that's underlined here, guys, these are things that are added in. So a loose ball play is action defined in 233.1A, B, C, and D. A running play is any action as defined in 233.2. Okay. Okay, defensive receiver rule. No player or non-player shall, P added in, initiate forceful contact against a defenseless receiver as in 232.16B and 232.16C that is not 1, incidental contact as a result of making a play on the ball, 2, initiated with open hands, or 3, an attempt to tackle by wrapping arms around the receiver. Penalty, 15 yards, personal foul. So you understand that we look at this picture, right? All these coaches asking, well, hey, what are we supposed to do about this, right? Well, we have the same person speaking at all meetings, and the answer was, when you are in a situation like this, what you should be trying to do at all times is wrap this receiver up, right? That's the safest way for everyone, right? Is you should be putting your arms around him or her, I guess, and that is what you should be doing. So that was kind of the direction that they were given by our rules interpreter, the coaches, and asking, hey, what we're talking about this. We want to be strong on this, and we want to be consistent. So questions, concerns, thoughts?
Biggest thing, and I've always told people this ever since this came into play, is if their hit's going to put them on Sports Center, it's a penalty. Or if you go ooh, it's a penalty. If they the thing to do is they're trying to stop is the blow up. They're trying to stop them from just blowing them up. Here in the picture, the guy's actually wrapping them up old school. That's what they're trying to bring back. It's pretty simple. When in doubt, throw the flag.
Thank you, Alden. Anyone else? Okay. This is a list of what all the editorial changes are that they made to the rules book. Some reminders. Jersey of the home team shall be the same dark color that clearly contrasts to white. Guys, as always, that just needs to be similar, right? So sometimes you're going to have a linebacker who's playing up from JV or something, and the varsity didn't have an extra jersey that was their same exact color and or style in order to fit over his girth. So they used what they had, similar enough. It clearly contrasts to white, and off they go. Okay. This, no rainbows, no rainbow teams. This is not Hawaii. That's what we were told by our interpreter. We're not Hawaii, so we don't play with rainbow teams. Points of emphasis. We want to be consistent on illegal and improperly worn player equipment. We want to be consistent on sportsmanship, and we want to be consistent on that defenseless player and the targeting calls and how we're making them and where we're calling them from. This is a picture that shows you all the rules for what their equipment should look like in case you're not sure. All the coaches were presented with this. Every bit of this was gone over. This is what they should, this is what your players out there on the field should look like. Any questions, thoughts?
I know, it seems like the biggest problem we had this last year was knee pads. So,
Always is and always will be. These kids want to be at the college level, right? Well, they're allowed to get away with it there. You're not supposed to be allowed to get away with it here. So just know the rule and act on the rule. And report if you're running into a problem, right? So we had, for instance, two teams that showed up, or one team that showed up without any, and two teams and another team, I think, that had a whole bunch of them that were a problem last year, right? When you have situations like that, just make your uniform report and send them in. That way I can have conversations with their administration to ensure that their rules are being followed. As it was, we had, for instance, one team that came up from the South that stated, hey, we don't have to do this down there. Turns out he was right. They hadn't done that to him all year. He'd made it all year long, their entire team playing without knee pads. So.
hey, and Mary, just a question from last year, because I don't remember the answer. They had those honeycomb face masks. You remember that question we had?
Yeah, well, I do, but I can't, I guess I can look up and see if there was any exceptions that were given. Give me a minute on that.
I can't remember what response we got back. I mean, that was my only question. I just can't remember what the response was back. So.
Bill wants to say something.
That was 2 years ago, but
that was 2 years ago, but they were legal.
They're legal? Okay, I just couldn't remember. Thanks.
There's no illegal face masks in the NIAA book or in the NFHS book.
Visors, I've already been asked about this by like 15 different coaches, and there's only like, 8 of them in our area. About how, what the rules are, everything else, guys. Prohibited equipment includes jewelry, 1. Tinted visors, number 2. Tinted visors are not legal. They cannot say, oh yeah, he's got migraines. I don't care. Tinted visors are not legal. Non-compliant eye shade. Bands worn around the upper arm, neck, or legs, and uniform adornments like towels that do not conform to Rule E. Most of this is not an issue. The visors, they're an issue. We don't care if their parents bought them the coolest, funnest thing that they just found or whatever else like that. These guys are all aware tinted visors are not allowed. Okay. I have had 2 coaches that asked me, well, what about a clear visor that has prescription in it? How would we know any different? As long as it's clear, that's all that matters. So you just tell them, sure, go ahead. As long as it's clear, it's all that matters.
Actually, the bands worn on the legs and the arms are a big problem, but nobody east or west of us enforces it. Nobody south of us enforces it. So, they come out this way and we'd make them take that stuff off or whatever. Makes us the bad people. So I just let it go. Armbands on the legs, armbands on the arms, up above.
Okay, so we had some discussion on improperly worn player equipment. So basically what we want to say is pants not covering the knees, right? Just tell them, hey, pull it down, right? They forget to put the mouth protector in, right? If you can tell them, if you can get them to go before they get it in there. Shoulder pads not properly being covered. Hey, tell their neighbor, right? Like, hey, fix his shoulder pad, right? Those kinds of things. We want to be helpful in the name of safety where we can. As long as we know that they have the required equipment, if there's a better way for them to wear it that provides the safety, then just help remind them about how they need to wear that. And again, that was told to the coaches. Okay, Sportsmanship, our favorite conversation of all times, in determining whether an action rises to the level of an unsportsmanlike conduct foul, game officials should allow for brief, spontaneous, emotional reactions at the end of a play. However, game officials should penalize acts that are prolonged, choreographed, or directed at an opponent. That's like the number one thing, right? Something directed at somebody from the other team is never allowed. Okay, that's number one. Whether it's an action, whether it's a word, something directed at an opponent, that's what we need to pay attention to, right? So what they're telling you on the left-hand side, hey, that thing, you know, jumping up, clapping together, bumping chests, slapping each other on the rear, whatever else like that, no big deal, right? It's fine. They did a great job. Maybe they didn't do a great job and they're just proud of themselves. Doesn't matter. That's good. We just want to look for the stuff that is specifically gearing towards poor sportsmanship. Questions on that? Okay, so the third part was defenseless player and targeting. A defenseless player is a player who, because of his physical position and focus of concentration, is especially vulnerable to injury. The player remains defenseless until the player's physical position and focus of concentration allows the player to have a chance to protect himself. Defenseless players include A, passers, B, receivers, C, sliding runners, and D, those illegally blocked from the blind side. So we started increasing this across the state. Last year, especially, we need to continue on this. We need to be consistent. We need to be making these calls, okay? These are the plays that lead towards a kid no longer being able to play. These are the plays that lead towards fights breaking out, different things like that. We need to get ahead of them. Your group is going to talk to you about things to look for, focus points to have. They're going to kind of go through all those things with you. We're good on that, or I'm good on them kind of going over that with you. I just need them, or need to make sure that you understand this is something that needs to continue to be a point of emphasis, needs to continue to be called, and needs to be called with consistency. Questions? Okay. See. This one, we already talked about this, but just need to give a reminder out. The school mascot is allowed to be on there. Okay, so no freaking out over that. They can have their school mascot. This is something that Mr. Rower wanted each association to remind everyone of. This is point of emphasis that came out from NFHS last year. Pre-game administration. Pre-game, right? That you guys need to know. You need to know who your white hat. If you're going to be a white hat, you are responsible for ensuring that everybody knows their roles, everybody's there, and basically everything gets kicked off and everything gets handled. You should know what you need to do there. If you have any questions, you need any assistance, or would like any help in that area, please feel free to reach out. Clock management. The rule implementing the 40-second play clock that was passed recently by NFHS created not only some subtle changes to clock management, but also had direct impact on the pace of play. Occasionally, clock operators are volunteers, but in most cases, they are hired by the home team, and it is not unusual for them to be partisans. The vast majority of operators are ethical, reliable individuals who are burdened with the multiple responsibilities. It is common for the game clock operator to also be responsible for maintaining the scoreboard. The latter duty requires the succeeding spot, down, and distance to the line to gain to be updated promptly after each play. When a team achieves a first down in bounds, the game clock stops and is restarted when the referee signals. That interval should not be more than the 3 to 5 seconds. The problem arises when the referee gives the start the clock signal, the silent wind, while the clock operator is working on the scoreboard console instead of watching the referee. The clock operator's briefing should include a request to refrain from changing the scoreboard down, distance, and yard line while the ball is located until the referee has restarted the game clock. These are things that you need to go over in your pregame conference about who's going to handle this duty, who's going to talk to your clock operator. That can change quite often, both based on the white hat and how the white hat prefers to run the crew, as well as if you have 4-man or 5-man, right? So have those conversations. Make sure that your clock operator knows what is going on. If you are running into a problem with a clock operator on a varsity game, I want to know about it. Okay, on a freshman or a JV game, well, good luck. You're gonna get who you're gonna get. Sometimes it might be the same person you see later, but probably not. But in a varsity game, they should have somebody who's listening, who's behaving, who's doing what they're supposed to. If you are running into a problem there, please let me know. Tenths of a second is something that we were told to address. So we addressed it in our coaches meeting. Tenths of a second are not recognized in high school football countdown. So that was brought out to these coaches. They were told, hey, your referee crew will give your clock operator a reminder beforehand. If at all possible, don't run a clock that shows tenths of seconds just to avoid any kind of confusion or upset by fans, et cetera, et cetera. We do know of, I know White Pine has tenths of a second clock, and we thought one other school did when trying to think back. So just make sure that you know that that's something you need to address, something you need to talk to the clock operator about, and something you all need to remember that tenths of a second is not used in NFHS. This last one, if there is a visible play clock that is not being operated by an on-field official, play clock operators should be certified game officials who are knowledgeable of NFHS play clock rules. Operating the play clock is a more difficult proposition than operating the game clock. The game clock operator can adequately do the job by following on-field signals. Was it Carlin?
No.
Maybe it wasn't in our area then. Maybe it was in Reno's area where somebody.
No one here has play clocks.
Okay, stepped out. So maybe that one we don't need to worry about. And they basically just had to tell them, hey, show us that you have your training, and then they kicked them off. But okay, if we don't have to worry about that here, then we're good. Dead ball officiating may be viewed by some game officials as an afterthought and a time to take a break. However, when the ball becomes dead, it is the most critical time for game officials to continue to perform their duties in order to maintain decorum among opponents. Game officials should strive to be excellent dead ball officials, since the likelihood of fouls being committed is at perhaps its highest. Dead ball fouls include behavior that is outside of the normally accepted boundaries of football and can involve both players and non-players. Some examples are baiting and taunting, fighting, throwing equipment in frustration, verbal abuse of game officials, and initiating contact with an opponent after the play is over. Because this type of behavior tends to gender ill will between opponents, it is imperative that it is immediately recognized by game officials and penalized accordingly. NFHS football rules penalize unsportsmanlike actions in different ways. Your group will talk to you about unsportsmanlike actions. That'll be part of your training. You'll kind of go over that. What I just want to remind you is to be a dead ball official, meaning we officiate all game long, not just when the game is in motion. So one thing to understand about dead ball during the game, anytime officiating a football and sportsmanship, is that racial slurs are no longer allowed, right? Sometimes they have been ignored and or allowed at certain schools based on the race, belief, sex, whatever of the person that is using them. Racial slurs are no longer allowed. They are an automatic ejection. This is an ejection that is supported by all superintendents who have the top priority of sportsmanship within the state, and also the top ability to decide whether or not we can enforce something that strictly. And they have said, yes, that strict of a level is for in school, and that strict of a level continues on the field, no matter what the sport is. I do not want to hear that you just turned an eye or a deaf ear to it or whatever else because it's football. I do not want to hear that. Racial slurs are not allowed. Any questions?
So Mary, can I ask a question? It's Mark.
Yes, sir.
So even if they just say it between, I mean, we had a discussion about this last year, but even if they say it between themselves,
They are to be ejected immediately, and your principal wants them to be ejected immediately. If they
Okay,
say it
so-
on school grounds to their buddy in a classroom or walking down a hall, they are to be ejected immediately.
okay,
That's-
any racial slur,
Yes,
even if it's one player saying to a teammate, that's
Yes.
ejectable. Okay,
racial
thank you.
slurs are automatically ejectable in
Okay.
all educational anything, which I know is tough. I realize that, right? We had to talk about it in the commissioners meeting. How are we going to do this? What are we going to do? And they just basically said, we just have to put this out there the same way and let everyone know it doesn't matter. They're not allowed any way, shape, or form. Irregardless.
I would assume that's from the crowd too. If you hear anything from the crowd, their game administrator.
You
get
should
them out of there.
always be doing that, yes.
Okay.
And so then that's our next step is how to handle crowd situations. But from players, we have again habitually turned the deaf ear to those kinds of situations. Schools have said we have to get rid of these words. How do we do it? Right? We have to get rid of this negativity. How do we do it? Well, here's how we do it. We just get rid of them completely. So
Okay, thank you, Mary.
okay. Next up is fans, okay? Football, we don't deal with that too much, thankfully, right? Normally it's too loud for you to hear anything that the fans say, and definitely too loud to really pinpoint where it's coming from. But at any time, if you hear something or you have a problem with something that's coming from your fans, your job is to go to your head official, which in football, that would be your white hat, and tell them you need to get administration and have them handle this fan situation. You do not at any time ever speak to a fan. We do not, okay? We do not address them. We do not tell them what we want them to do. We do not tell them, hey, you're ejected, even if they say that word to us or we hear them saying one of those words. We do not address fans in any way, shape, or form. We address administration and we tell administration what we would like them to do. That might be, hey, remove that fan. That might be, there's a sound coming from over there that is affecting my ability to officiate. That might be, hey, something's happening over here, please go in that section, whatever it is, any of those kinds of things, that is perfectly fine. We personally do not ever speak to fans or spectators of any kind and tell them what to do. We speak to coaches and we speak to kids on the field. Questions on that? Okay, for enforcement on why we don't, you are going to hear about a sportsmanship package. This is something that is sitting on the desk of our governor right now, just awaiting a signature. The moment that that signature happens, it goes into effect. That effect allows the NIAA and schools to put very harsh penalties on any spectator who acts up or gets removed from a game. However, an official speaking to a spectator removes the ability for the NIAA or the school to enact that penalty. So you can understand why it's very important that we get across, you don't ever speak to a spectator, a fan, a parent, whatever it is. That way there is no opportunity for them to say, well, he or she incited it. Okay, so we don't ever do it. We take our space, we use administration. We hope that administration is already there and we move on our merry way. And thankfully, again, in football, I understand we rarely ever run into this, with the exception of maybe occasionally walking out to the car in the parking lot. I think, a couple of times maybe we've had some incident along those lines. But outside of that, we don't really have any problems. If somebody asks you about the sportsmanship package or about how long they're going to be ejected for or anything else like that, your answer is talk to your administration or give them my name and number. So any questions on that? Okay. That concludes our portion of everything that I had to go over with you, the boxes I had to check, all that kind of stuff. I still have not received forms back or approval to submit the forms that we are going to be using this year for injury and all that kind of stuff. As soon as I have those, I will email everyone and they will be on Arbiter in the forms section. As well as updated ejection reports. You must use the ejection report that I put in Arbiter. Okay, don't use any past ones or anything like that, please. And if for some reason you have a problem using the ejection report, can't get it to pull up, can't find it, anything else like that, please reach out to me as quickly as possible. We literally have 24 hours now to get these ejection reports in and done across. Some of that is, again, because of the sportsmanship package and the timeline in there. Things to make sure that are on your ejection reports will be on this report. It will tell you all those things that you need. However, a couple of things I need to make sure you know I need from you. I don't care if you know the name of the person that you eject if it's a child, okay? I do need to know what that number is. So I need to know what the number is on their uniform. And if they are wearing a different uniform than everyone else out there, please make sure and either notate that on there, right? Different uniform, something like that. So I know to go work through possible situations of where they might be, because they could technically have two players on the field with this, or two players on the bench with the same number, and they might be rotating them in and out as they are able to do that again if they are playing a player up. So if you see something unusual, please notate that on there to expedite my ability to make sure that I'm charging the correct kid with ejection. And please make sure, again, and include that player's number in your ejection reports. If you eject an adult, if you eject a coach, I need to know the coach's name, okay? So I have to know the name of the coach that you're ejecting. If you eject a coach, if you don't feel comfortable asking, you have hopefully anywhere from 3 to 4 other teammates out there. If you didn't feel like, you know, asking somebody because of the situation, somebody else can verify for you what the name of that adult is that you ejected. If you eject a spectator, that is for the administration, and you just notate that to me that you ejected an administrator, and the administrator is required to provide that name, et cetera, et cetera. So any questions on that? Okay, and again, these will all be on the report as soon as it comes out. The reason why we're having to wait on it is because these reports that we're all using now have the logo of the NIAA on it, and we have a very spelling conscious executive director who insists on proofreading everything before it goes out, as he was an English major and he doesn't want anything with the NIAA's logo on it that is not correctly worded and or punctuated. So we're just waiting for him to approve all of ours. Those ejection reports, just so you're aware too, as soon as one is filed, will automatically dump into, or automatically tick off like, hey, the NENOA submitted an ejection report on this day on a list. They won't be able to see the actual report until only I can do that, but it just automatically, when somebody goes in and fills out a report, it tells them, hey, new report. And just so that way they know to expect one coming in as well. So thank you guys. Good luck. Please let me know if you have any questions, any problems. Yes, sir, Mr. Ackerman.
Did you get any more case books? I only got a rule book because you were waiting for case books to come because you were...
yes, because you left before the cruise. Yes, we have all of that stuff. Western Nevada has them there, or I have.
Okay, that's all I need. I'll stop by and get one from Bill.
Yep. Thanks. Nope, they have plenty of them.
Okay, thanks.
Mary, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is there a list of racial slurs put out by the NIAA?
That has been asked by any number of people, and they said technically no, they can't make a list because if they did so and they forgot to include something. So, guys, racial slurs
so my question is if somebody says whiting, are they ejected?
The answer actually that was given to that was yes.
Okay.
I know that specific. I think it was Mr. Jacoby that specifically asked, and the answer that was given to that was yes. But just so you know, we did also talk about that in the coaches meeting, and they're aware, but they say their kids have already received training from their schools, right? Like to know you can't say any of this, so we should expect to not hear any of it anyway. That was the promise we were given. So
something to think about quickly on this. Any language that targets a person's race ethnicity, nationality, religion, gender, sexual orientation, or disability, use of racial slurs that are homophobic or transphobic remarks or hate speech of any kind, or trash talk that crosses the line into personal, offensive, or discriminatory territory should be ejectable offenses. Turn those remarks into Mary and let the NIAA handle it from that point forward.
And that is where that goes. And that's why the full report too, guys, when you fill out that full report, that's why the report doesn't dump out to everyone. That's why each individual's group's report only goes back to their commissioner to be reviewed, to be gone through, and then a direct line, just to make sure that you're as protected as you can be and all that kind of stuff. Now, I'm going to say this because we all did actually talk about this, and they said the same thing. If you aren't comfortable writing out a word, that's fine. I will take care of it for you. Understand that that word is going on that report because it is required by our Board of Control. But we do understand that there are any number of reasons why someone may not be comfortable writing out a word. And I will just confirm with you what it is that was on there and add that adjustment in there with my initials on there, as will any other commissioner for any other sport within the state. Because again, this is something that is being mandated by the Board of Control exactly how they want it. So. But I do understand it's not comfortable for everyone. It's not comfortable for me, but I just, we just have to move through. So just, do your best and just communicate with me if you need me to do something for you from there. Okay. Outside of that, thank you again. Good luck. I hope you enjoy yourselves, and I hope we find 2 or 3 more officials for this year. More we have. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, Tyler, you got rules, right?
Hey, Mary, are you still on?
Yes, sir.
Can you send out a list? I can't remember when I took my concussion, how long it's been. Could you look over that and see?
Yep.
And just send a note out to everybody who needs to retake that?
I can't promise to send a note out to everybody who needs to retake it, because the only way to find a list is to literally individually search your name, and I'm not doing that for 100 people. But for you,
I'm
Mr.
sorry,
Ackerman,
then.
I will do that for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I can't
Okay.
remember how long ago it was. Thank you.
Yep, I will do that for you. For everyone else, if you can't remember if you took it last year, I'm just going to ask you to go ahead and take it again.
When in doubt, set it out. There you go. And Tyler, you're muted.
Thank you for telling me that. We are on 65 is where we left off at. So we can just go down the list here of people. First up on here, I have Alden on the screen. So if you want to kick us off.
Hold on here.
We're going to try to blast through these and get as many of these done, if not all the rest of them tonight.
I'll do it. In
Can't
7
read that.
official mechanics on a kickoff, which officials are responsible for K's goal line on a long return? It's the field judge and side judge. D.
Correct. D. Okay, next up, 66.
I'll do it. 2nd and 13 at B20, A11 throws a forward pass toward A87, who is running near the end line. 87 leaps and secures control of the pass while airborne. His right foot lands first on the ball of his foot, clearly in the end zone. Then the heel of his right foot contacts the end line in normal stepping landing action. His left foot then lands out of bounds. The field judge threw a defensive hold foul on B22. It is an incomplete pass. 2nd and 3 at the B10.
That is correct. This is a new change in the Nevada State Manual, where if it's a natural stepping motion, then we're ruling it out of bounds. If it's a toe tap or a drag of the foot, that's still a touchdown. But if it's a natural step where the heel comes down, then the toe, or the toe and then the heel, like if they're going backwards, then it's an incomplete pass. Okay, moving on to 67.
I can take that one.
Thanks, Matt.
The expanded neutral zone shall be extended another yard for a total of 3 past the line of scrimmage for purposes of ruling on ineligible receivers downfield. I have true. I found that in the manual as well.
Correct. That's Appendix A. That's kind of one of those things where 3, we could probably even go out to 4. We want to make sure that that's big. We want to make sure that it's there. Okay. 68.
68, Mark, I'll take that. Whenever possible, an interior receiver should be ruled in the backfield and not covered if the formation would otherwise be legal. I got true. Alpha.
Yes, true. That's enough. That's in the manual as well, Appendix A. 69.
I'll do that one. I'll do that one because mine was so easy. In regards to intentional grounding fouls, if the referee is unsure if the passer was outside the lateral boundaries of the free blocking or pocket or not, he should rule that the passer was outside the pocket. B.
Correct. Appendix B and then a manual. Chris, go ahead. 70.
Okay, 70. Head coach or designated representative exits the team box by at least 10 yards to get the attention of the wing official to call timeout. A or B? I'm going to say B. This action should be allowed by the wing official without flag or warning.
Correct. This is in the Appendix C as well of the Nevada State Manual. We will allow the head coach to come down and get us in some of these loud stadiums when it starts getting down the line in an intense game. We should not be looking over and worrying about where the coach is or coming at us or anything like that. We need to be focusing on the play. I'll tell the head coach, come down and get me. I'm not listening for you. So if you need a timeout, come down and get me. Okay, 71. Hugh, you want to take 71? Are you available?
Yeah,
I'll take it.
71.
Oh,
Try at B3. Team A lines up in a swinging gate formation. 3 players are clearly in the backfield. A22 is lined up in the slot between the snapper A50 and the left guard A55, who is split wide and legally on the line. A22's helmet is not breaking the waistline of A55, but not that of A50. I would say A. But I am
Okay.
probably wrong. So this is why I was getting to the receiver ones. I didn't know how you knew if they were eligible or ineligible. That's why I wanted you to go over it with me in Battle Mountain.
I think the rule or the question is a little misleading. So the question, if you break it down, there's 3 players that are clearly in the backfield. Outside of those 3, A22 is lined up in the slot between the snapper and the left guard, who's split wide and legally on the line. A22's helmet's breaking the waistline of A55, but not A50. So it's illegal because they have too many backs in the backfield.
Yes, because you're gonna have, I think in the they're talking about the quarterback being 1, so that's gonna put 5 in the backfield.
Yeah.
And where Steve was going on this is when we got to remember in the manual, it also mentions, and this is the like Nevada manual 5.33, and it's also in the appendix portion that if they're going to have any sort of a trick play of any sort, it's got to be ran perfectly. And in this case, it was a illegal formation. They were not lined up perfectly. So we want to make sure that we get a flag on that. So the answer on this one, C, the formation should be ruled illegal if the ball is snapped. They can correct it up until the time that the ball is snapped. They have to be set for 1 second if they do so, though. Any other questions on that? Okay, moving on. 72.
In four official mechanics, if the wing official reads pass and the passer is looking toward the far side of the field, the wing official should D, remain on the line of scrimmage until the pass is thrown.
Correct. We want to make sure that we have somebody covering the line of scrimmage to make sure that the legal forward pass goes across the line of scrimmage for number one to rule on ineligibles downfield. But number two, we need to make sure that if the quarterback decides to scramble, we have somebody that can rule on if he decides to throw the ball right there at the line of scrimmage, is he behind or beyond the line of scrimmage for an illegal forward pass? Okay, 70. So the answer on that one was D for everybody. Okay, 73.
Game started with a crew of 7. One official had a game-ending injury in the second quarter, and there are no. The game will be conducted with a crew of 6. I said no side judge, but I was wrong, so I'm going to say field judge.
So in the Nevada State Manual, section 11, it talks about 6-man. And in that case, we drop out our which one?
The back judge.
Yeah,
Okay.
we drop out our back judge on that one, and we'll have a field judge and a side judge. Scotty, I think you were in that game with us. Maybe we did it out in Spring Creek a couple years ago. Were you a part of that? Weren't you the white hat in that? It was a JV game.
I think that's when we added, and I'm pretty sure this was Elko. Like you came in late, and we just added a 6th official.
Yeah, me and Pop were in the back. Pop was the back judge, and he just moved over to the other side. So we have
And I'm
two.
pretty sure I was the white hat on that.
Yep. Okay, so the answer on that one, C, no back judge. 74.
I got it. 4th and 15 at the 50. K is in a scrimmage kick formation to punt. Deep receiver R2 attempts to catch the ball at the R10, but it bounces off his shoulder and rolls into the end zone. K44 recovers the ball in the end zone. During the kick, the line judge threw a flag on R33 for holding at the R40. So the answers are touchdown K, the foul can only be enforced on the try. Touchdown K, the foul can be enforced on the try or on the ensuing kickoff. K, 4th and 5 at the R40, R, 1st and 10 at the R10. So this is a muffed recovery. With K recovering in the end zone. So it would be ruled a touchdown. And I believe that it's B, touchdown K, the foul can be enforced on the try or on the ensuing kickoff. Tyler?
Okay, so let's walk through this. Remember our thing. A kick is a kick is a kick until a kick's end, right?
Right.
In this play, did the kick ever end? Was there possession ever?
No, there wasn't.
Okay,
No.
so if the
It's not a
ball
touchdown.
so if a kick goes into the end zone, what do we got?
Touchback.
Touchback, yeah.
Okay, so where do we put the ball at on a touchback?
The 20.
Okay, so the result of the play, if we're like a receiver or sorry, the referee, we can announce the result of the play is a touchback. During the kick, holding number whatever it was, 10-yard penalty, and then we're going to move on. So in this case, we're enforcing this from the 20, marching it back, and it'll be 1st and 10 from the R10.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
it does.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. We are on 75.
Well, I'll do this one.
Okay.
1st and 10 at A35. A10 throws a deep sideline pass to A80, which is caught at the B40, and A80 advances for a touchdown. The headlines unrolled that A80 stepped out of bounds while running his pattern at the 50 and has a flag down on the play. And I'm not going to read through all these, but I have C, the enforcement spot is A35, and the foul is for illegal participation by A80.
Yes, this is part of the new rule change where illegal participation is enforced from our previous spot. In this case, it would be enforced from the well, let's see here.
Well, it's enforced. So he stepped out of bounds at the 50.
The enforcement spot is the A35. That's what I was going.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay. So C. All right, 76.
I'll do 76, 3 and 10. B40, Team A had only 10 players on the field during the last play during the dead ball period and before the umpire spots the ball for 3rd down. A88, the 11th player enters the field and joins the huddle while A85 jogs towards Team A sideline. A85 stops 1 yard short of the sideline but remains on the field and on the line of scrimmage. Team B does not see A85's position after the snap. A14 throws a completed pass to A85, who scores a touchdown. And so what I landed on was D, mainly with the unfair act. So it looked like everything was right, but it wasn't what you should do in football. So that's where I landed. 3 and 25 on the A45 unfair act, unsportsman conduct foul charge to teammates head coach.
So Chris, I had the exact same thing and I got this one wrong. So I called up Steve and asked him, and he has C on this one as an illegal participation only because that 11th player was already inside the 9 and then went off and stopped and didn't go off, and then it was the player that threw it to him. So he's calling that illegal participation rather than the unsportsmanlike. Alden, I mean, it's the same penalty. Let me get your input on this. What are you going? You're pretty good at these types of plays.
Well, to me, I mean, the penalty at the end of the day is the same, yardage wise, but this is clear deception right here. I mean, they used to call this the wooden Indian or something like that back home because the Cheyenne Central Indians used to run this play all the time, where the guy would come over and stand with his shoulders parallel to the sidelines like he's on the sidelines, and they would do the same exact thing. I mean, the coach instructed the player to do exactly what he did. And so to me, just calling an illegal participation foul is kind of taking the easy way out on this thing. And because this is a planned play. This is one of those trick plays here. This is a planned play right here. And I would go an unfair act myself.
Yeah, that's what I had.
So in the rule book, it is illegal participation. So 9(6)D, a player, replace player, substitute, or athletic trainer or other attendant in a substitution or pretended substitution to deceive opponent for at or immediately before the snap or free kick. So is illegal participation. So they're saying that deception by substitution is illegal participation.
Yeah, he has 10-3-1 and 10-4-2 cited on this as well. So like I said, I was I felt like it was an unfair act or deception as well. It's one of those plays where when you're out there, you got to really see it. It's hard to visualize it, just read on the actual on this test. So as far as for the answer on the test, if this question comes up on your test, the answer on this is C. So just know that. Okay. 77.
All right. 4th and 10 at the K30. K5 punts the ball to R90, who catches the kick at the R30 and is pushed out of bounds at the 50. During the return, the HL threw a flag for an illegal blindside block on R28 at the R40. The line judge had a flag down for 5 K players in the backfield at the snap. So when I kind of broke it down, 2 penalties are live ball penalties. So that means they could offset and replay the down. But they could also have B, R 1st and 10 at the R25. I think I found this as a casebook study, so I went with D, A, or B.
Yeah, that's correct. So the last in possession gets first choice as far as penalty. So if they were to want to keep this ball, they could decline, or whatever, they decline their penalty for the 5 in the backfield. And then if the other team decides to accept that penalty, then that would move them back to the R25. If not, they could decline it themselves and it would offset and then replay the down. So just remember, last in possession gets first choice if you have multiple fouls on a play.
I'll do 78.
Thank you.
Fourth and 12 at K3. 55 seconds left in first quarter. Clock is running. Team K is facing a very strong headwind and in scrimmage kick formation. Just before the play clock expires with 17 seconds left, A66 commits a false start. When marking and ready for play, the referee should, and then I just kind of went not wind the clock and chop it in so they couldn't run it out and then try to get to the other side to kick with the wind.
So that's correct, Hugh. That's where Steve was going on this play, which is 3, 4, 6. We have as a referee, we can decide if we feel like that a team is getting a penalty to create an advantage for themselves to stop the clock and not wind it in a situation where there's a running clock. We can never start a clock, but we can stop a clock from starting on that in this case. So the answer on this is going to be B, not wind the clock and chop it in. 79.
I'll do this one, Tyler. It's Mark. During
you.
a quarter change, the back judge is responsible for timing the 60-second timeout and notifying the referee when it's about to expire. B, confirming new ball placement with the umpire. C, escorting the box down to its new location. And it's A and B or all the above. I missed this one. I had A and B, and I do not understand why C is included in this.
Yeah, so this is a new rules or a new manual in the NFH or the Nevada State Manual. It's a new provision in there for the back judge and their responsibilities. 2.81. They are now to come over and they will grab the down box and they will escort the down box to its new location. The head linesman's only responsibility is going to be the chains in this case and getting those set up. Line judge will be mirroring on the other side of the of the down box. So the back judges have a few more responsibilities during the quarter change outside of just timing the 60 seconds and then going down and helping confirm the ball placement with the umpire.
It just didn't make sense to me because how are you supposed to place the box or place the ball, then go all the way over the box? It just doesn't make sense to me. So I'll go with D. I'll go with E, all the above.
Well, the
Number
umpire will place the ball. You're on the sideline, and what you should have written down is written down where he picked the ball up at with the down box, and then you and the down box go to the number that you have written down on your piece of paper. And then when you set the down box down, you should look up and see the ball at the same spot. That's what it means by confirming new ball placement. And that's why they have you escorting the down box there. You're not out in the middle. Yeah, you're not out in the middle of the field. You're staying with the down box on the sidelines.
Is that just 5-man or is that different in 7-man?
That's a 5-man.
Okay, because I would guess 7-man, the side judge or somebody back there would be there helping as well.
Have to cover that when we get into a 7-man game.
Okay,
that one game a year.
All right.
Thanks, Alden.
Tyler, I'll do it. I'll do 80.
Thank you.
An inadvertent dead ball signal given by an official while the ball is live should be treated the same as an inadvertent whistle, and that's true.
Yes, that is true. This happened last year in a state regional final game over in Reno, where they allowed a touchdown to happen after an inadvertent signal was caught on, it was on film, the whole 9 yards. And, it was one of those where if you have an inadvertent whistle and you see everybody kind of stopping, that's the same as the whistle, or sorry, an inadvertent signal. So blow your whistle, kill it, own up to it, and go and move on. Okay, number 81.
4th and 14 at the B24. A is lined up in scrimmage kick formation to attempt a field goal. Holder A12 receives the snap and rises off the ground and throws a completed pass to A87, who was tackled at the B12. The umpire threw a flag on B98 for roughing the snapper. B, 1st and 10 at the B12.
Correct. I ended up actually getting this wrong and had to go back and look. The only roughing, the roughings are automatic first downs, but the only roughing that is a tack on is roughing the passer to the end of the run. All the other roughings are from the previous spot. Just know that for you white hats and whatnot. Okay, 82.
I'll go. 2nd and 20 at A40. A3's pass is intercepted by B44 at the B35. B44 returns the ball to the B40, where he is tackled and fumbles the ball, which is recovered inbounds by A66 at the B42, who is down there. The game clock will start on the snap. The game clock will start on the ready for play. I put game clock to start on the snap just because of the change of possessions.
So which
A,
number?
I picked A.
Okay, does anybody have anything different on this one?
I got B.
It's B.
Does anybody have anything different than B? So this one was just on the slides in there. And so momentum rule, this is an 852A exception. And there was a big, huge post on the Facebook pages where Tony Hare had to end up turning off the administration comments or whatnot because of some of the comments about this.
You're one ahead. This is 82.
Oh.
Yeah, Tyler, you jumped one.
Okay, sorry. B is the answer on that one. Is that what you chose? I'm sorry. We're driving and now I'm all all discombobulated. Sorry, B for 82. I apologize.
It doesn't start on the snap. It's not a change of possession, even though you do change possession. The team that last snapped it has the ball again, so that's why it's on the ready for play and not on the snap.
Okay.
Yeah, and the Reno guys had a really cool little thing. Steve Rower brought it up. When you have an ABA turnover, just remember the little thing, ABA, ready for play. So that was something I took a note of from those guys.
All right. I kind of started giving the answer to number 83. I'll just do that one. 3rd and 15 at B20. A3's pass is intercepted by B40 at the 3, and B44's original momentum carried him into the end zone. He attempts to return the ball, but is hit by A80, fumbles while in the end zone. The loose ball hits the goal line pylon. In this case, the pylon is still considered part of the end zone. And so what ends up happening on this is because the momentum rule is in it, the momentum exception, we bring this ball out to the 3-yard line. It'll be B, 1st and 10.
And you said this had a bunch of comments?
There was a play like this, you know, the picture where it has the interception, goes into the end zone and then comes out on the end of the rule.
Yeah.
Player fumbles, it goes out into the field of play out of bounds. Well, typically, you know, if you fumble from the end zone into the field of play, we move the ball back and the spot would be in the end zone. You'd have a safety. In this case, momentum would be applied and it would be B, 1st and 10 at the 3.
Okay.
Even if it goes out of bounds in the field of play, momentum would come in. All right. We do have there's one here that I'm gonna have to show you guys because the original test that came out and then what the answer key came out with, there's an added question. So I'm gonna pop over. Can you guys see this one here with the red? So we're gonna walk through number 84. Who wants to do number 84? You may want to take a quick pick of number 84 because I do not believe that it is on your guys' test. And this may be on one of your tests. So there is the question. It is answered there. But 2nd and 7 at B41. QB A14 rolls right and looks downfield. He escapes on rushing lineman and throws a pass from the B39 towards A34, but the pass falls incomplete. B99 tackles A14 well after the pass is thrown. They have it'll be 3rd and 10 at the B44 on the snap. They're calling this, on this one, they're calling this intentional grounding. 5-yard penalty and a loss of down. Okay. So just note that one if that comes up on your test. Now back to the 84 that we all have.
Is that okay?
We're ignoring the late hit.
Well, they're not calling intentional grounding. They're calling an illegal forward pass because he went past the 41 to the 39.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
So he's at the 39, so he's not a passer anymore. And the throw is actually an illegal fumble forward. So the ball would come back to the 39 on the fumble. The penalty for an illegal forward pass is 5 yards and a loss of down. So that's why we're moving back to the 44, and it's going to be 3rd and 10.
But again, we're ignoring the dead ball tackle.
Yeah.
Why? Because it says
Because
well after the
Steve made-
pass.
Yeah, I don't know why.
You could have unnecessary roughness on this particular play. I don't think that it's a great worded play because there's multiple things on here.
Well, Steve made the test, and that's what he wanted.
So,
And if I
I
remember
take it in
right,
the other thing he might be looking at on this, well,
I
it's
mean,
not
I
even an
understand.
option.
I understand it all the way up to the point of the fall incomplete. Yeah, the illegal forward pass. Blah blah blah. I get all of that, but then you got the dead ball. The play is well after the pass is thrown, so the play is over, and then all of a sudden a guy just gets tackled out of nowhere, and you just ignore it.
We can't. We had too many of that stuff. That we can't ignore that. That's stuff that has to be called. I agree.
I
I
guess it
think I
depends
remember
on what kind of
Steve
tackle,
talking to
right?
me about this.
I mean, if he loves him to the ground, okay, maybe, but if he tackles him like he's trying to sack the quarterback, that's a penalty.
Yeah, and I think what Steve was talking about is you can have an unnecessary roughness, but you can't have a roughing the passer.
Correct.
Because you didn't
Because-
have a pass. So
Because you didn't have a pass.
correct.
And since it's the forward fumble, the tackle, as long as it's not unnecessary, or is just a tackle. It's not, if the running back fumbled the ball, he could still be tackled without the ball to keep him from grabbing it, right? As long as he's not picked up and thrown down on the ground on his head. So that's how I read it, is that the tackle's not bad.
The fact that this pass falls incomplete, depending on how far after the whistle or well after the pass is thrown, how far it goes. If that whistle already happens and then it happens afterwards, you're going to have a dead ball. You could have a dead ball unnecessary roughness. So you could have the
But take
third
pass out of that,
and
it's not
then go
it's
another
not a
15.
pass.
What?
So just know it's not a pass, right? We keep saying pass, but it's not a pass.
It's an illegal forward pass from the 39.
Yes, which is not a pass. It's an illegal forward pass, so it's a fumble, basically.
It's a running play.
Yes, it's a running play. If that ball lands on the ground, it can be received. It can be picked up as a fumble.
Not if it goes forward. A forward pass is a forward pass. It's not a fumble. I guess I'm thinking of like the old Stanford bands on the field. If it goes forward and it's caught, then they have a flag on it. But if it goes
You're
incomplete
thinking of the holy roller.
and it's not caught, we're not treating that as a fumble where somebody can pick that ball up. Right?
It's incomplete, no matter what. It went forward. It was whether it's underhand, overhand, whatever. Anything forward is incomplete, as long as it's not hand to hand. But the wording of the play or the question when he says well after, if he just said after, then okay, then it's whatever. But with the well after, to me, that sounds like there should have probably been a penalty for unnecessary roughness. But anyway, let's move on.
I agree. Yeah. Okay, back to this 84 now.
Well, seems how we've all seen the answer. Unless in goal line mechanic, a runner is approaching the sideline towards the position of the wing official should A, move several yards upfield towards the offensive backfield and trail the play from behind.
Yes. Okay.
85, I'll take that, Mark. It is acceptable to practice to mark a progressive spot, to mark a progress spot with a beanbag if the covering official needs to leave that spot to tend to other duties such as a scuffle or a hot shot between opposing players. I put true.
Correct. 86.
Second and 12. B on the B23 score is 13-17. There's 15 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Game clock is stopped. Because of the last play, the runner ran out of bounds. A is out of timeouts. A86 commits a false start. The game clock will start on the snap because B has the you're under 2 minutes. The offending team has the option to start the clock on the ready or on the snap. Or no, he's out of bounds, so he has to go back to the snap.
Yep. Yep. You can't
Even
start
though-
a clock. You can stop a clock.
Right. Because he ran out of bounds.
Yep. 87.
With fouls by the offense include a loss of down as part of the penalty. Answer is everything but D. So intentional grounding includes a loss of down, illegal forward pass, and illegal touching is all loss of down penalties. Illegal kicking is not.
Correct. So F, all but D.
You're laughing. She's not. Knock it off.
88.
Okay.
To be a foul for kick catch interference, there must be contact by the opponent on the receiver. Answers B, false.
False is correct. 89.
Free kick from K's 40, K30's. Free kick from K40. K30's kick lands near the R10 yard line and very close to the sideline, untouched by any player. R41 intentionally steps onto the sideline, then picks up the ball. The covering official sounds his whistle and throws a flag. The foul is illegal participation on R41 and forced spot is the K40.
Yeah, C.
That's the new rule. You go back.
Go back to the previous. Yeah.
You broke up, you said C?
Okay. C. Number 90.
Which fouls by the defense also include an automatic first down? Roughing the passer, roughing the kicker or holder, roughing the snapper. All of the above.
Correct. Okay.
Tyler?
91.
When I
Yeah.
answered this on the test, I put D, but I got that wrong. I don't know if that's been changed, but I missed that question by putting D.
Henley, stop.
I think this is the one that Steve said got jumbled. So sometimes you might put D, but you have to look at the words that are the answers.
I put all of the above on the answers.
Okay.
And I missed it. Yeah.
He came out with that email that said there were 2 questions that were improperly put in, and I think this is one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. If anybody is like on that cusp where it's gonna affect whether or not you get a postseason game, a state game, or even able to, referee at being a 70 or whatever it is, right? Send those to Mary. Mary's able to look at those, and if you put the correct answer, but it's been inputted in, you will still receive credit. You don't need to go back and retake the test. Does that make sense? So between all of the trainings plus this one, you'll get the answers on everything. If you double check it when you're writing them down and you know for certain that this has been, marked correct and it was inputted incorrectly into the test format, just let Mary know, and then your score will be adjusted. Okay. So the answer on that one is C or D, all of the above. Okay. I looked at the wrong one. I looked at the one before. Okay, 90. We're on 92.
91.
91.
When in doubt as to whether a foul by Team A occurred in A's end zone or in the field of play, the covering official shall rule it to be in the field of play.
Correct. All right, 92.
So 92, first and 10, A2, running back A31 takes a handoff and runs up the middle. He's hit by B99, a yard deep into the end zone and goes to the ground. The line judge marks forward progress spot. So that just over half the ball is in the field of play, but the rear portion of the ball is still on A's goal line. I have this as B, safety. It's got to come all the way out.
Yeah, that's correct. And this is kind of one of them funky plays, but or misworded questions. Steve doesn't even really like it after he read it out loud. But the answer is C, or answer is B, safety. We want to make sure that that ball is 100% out. It's like if it's going in on the other side for a touchdown, all it's got to do is break the plane of the glass with the nose, and it's a touchdown. It's opposite on the other end when it's coming out for a safety. 93.
I'll do it. Free kick at K40, K32 attempts an onside kick. K44 touches the ball at the K48. K80 blocks R36 at the R48 before the ball reaches the 50. R89 recovers the ball and is down at the R45. Team R accepts the penalty for illegal blocking by K80. And the answer is C, R first and 10 at the K45.
That is correct. 90. Let's see here on here, guys.
94.
94.
I'll go. First and 20 at B46. A4 throws a deep pass over the middle to A36, who leaps and secures the ball at the B20. Immediately following and just before A36 lands, B18 makes a forceful hit in the chest and A36 with his shoulder, causing the ball to fall to the ground. I put A, second and 20 at B46.
Anybody have anything different?
Well, I think the key is the forceful hit to the chest with his shoulder. So I think it should be D.
That's what I had too.
Correct.
First and 5 at the B31.
Yeah, we have a hit on a defenseless player here. That's a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot because of the incomplete.
I just said that because it didn't say they threw a flag, though. So,
Well, I agree with you, Hugh. What's a forceful hit? I mean, did he wrap his arms? Did he not wrap his arms? I think that's a little ambiguous to me too.
Well, I think this is a case where he's learning how to write test questions, and I think it'll get better as it goes on.
Yep.
So D for that one if it comes up on your test. Okay, 95. We're almost done. We only got 4 more.
Try at B3. RBA 33 runs to the right and is hit at the B1 by B55. A33 fumbles the ball into the end zone. B77 is running toward the ball to recover it when A91 shoves him in the back above the waist, propelling B77 past the ball, and A91 recovers the loose ball in the end zone. I have that as C, no foul, tried successful, 2 points for Team A. Kind of anything goes around that ball. So
Correct. Okay, 96.
Mark, I'll take this one. Proper foul enforcement is responsibility of the referee and the umpire, the referee and the official who called the foul, the entire crew. Again, I think this is kind of test writing questions, but the proper answer that they're looking for is D, the entire crew.
That is correct. Yeah, everybody is responsible for foul enforcement. If you have any questions or you don't think something's right, that's the time to speak up. We don't want to go into the locker room and have stuff brought up, because that's not the time. Let's get it right on the field at the time. 97.
Proper pre-snap position for the referee on a routine scrimmage play is, the answer is D, anywhere 10 to 15 yards.
Anybody have anything different on that?
I had C.
Yeah, the Nevada State Manual 5.21, we want to be 13 to 15 yards into the backfield, about 1 to 3 yards outside or near the tight end position on the throwing arm side of the quarterback.
Then I missed that one.
So the answer on that one's C. And the last one, 98.
98. Umpires should avoid standing on the goal line when in goal line mechanics. True.
That is true. Yes. Yeah, it's also in the manual 5.31. Okay, that is our test. Any questions regarding that we need to touch back over? Okay. We do have an on-training field opportunity Wednesday night, 6 o'clock, out at the junior football field league at the Boys and Girls Club. We'll be out there. We'll go over some, chain stuff, some different things. And then just kind of, if you're not able to make it to Battle Mountain, like on Saturday, this is an opportunity to still get some on-field time. For those that are going to Battle Mountain Saturday, let's try to meet over there in that parking lot around 8:30, so we can go over pregame, get people split up, kind of what they're going to be doing. And then also next week on the 13th, if you are available and want to work football game, there is going to be a live full scrimmage, full contact in Wells at like 6 o'clock, I believe. Alden and Bill are looking to start assigning those. And then the final thing, Alden sent out a message last night. Please get in there, get all your blocks put in. We got some busy weekends in September. They're needing to start contacting the Reno and getting games moved with the schools as they're starting to go back, and just need to know everybody's availability so that we can get all the proper things in place.
Tyler, what's the date on that Wells game again, please?
13th.
So Alden, for the Wells game, are you just trying to staff it with people, or do you want more than, is it more of a scrimmage format?
The Wells is a scrimmage. We'll take everybody.
Okay.
So Wednesday the 13th at 6?
We can work in those. Yes.
And the last on-field opportunity that there would be is August 16th. Junior football league has 3 games that they need help covering. I've sent out information for Dustin and Jared. It was also in that email that Alden sent out last night as well. Contact them if you're interested. Sign up on their sheet, because they're going to be using that ref app page to assign games and to get signed up. So if that's something that you're interested in, please contact them, get that signed up. Alden and I, Bill, are not having anything to do with assigning those games. We'll help them put out reminder emails or anything like that, but that's up to you and Jared and Dustin on that. We have too much to do as far as to try to get stuff assigned for the high school stuff. We're going to try to work on making sure that we're at least 3 weeks in advance or 2 weeks in advance for games. so that if that's something that you want to do, you'll know.
Hey, are Miller and Whitson and all those guys, are they calling this year or?
To our knowledge, I know Eric had some prior engagements the last couple of meetings that he wasn't able to jump on.
Okay,
And then from what we hear, same thing with Pat. I think he had some prior engagements too.
okay,
So
all right.
I think Pat's at some little league. His
Well, I
nephew,
was just trying to figure out who we're missing is all.
yeah, his niece is playing in San Bernardino at some little league regional championship or something.
Okay,
You got on your blocks, guys, when you put, if you have a partial block that, hey, you can't leave your hometown, say you're working out of Battle Mountain, you can't leave Battle Mountain until 4 o'clock. Just put that in, just block yourself till 4 o'clock in whatever town you're in. And we'll work around that time on knowing what you need. So you don't need to block the whole day if you don't think you can, make a game or something. Just block till you can leave your job.
Bill, do you know if Mary and our wonderful Central Nevada had their conversation yet?
So as far as
Central
Nevada,
No. I'm gonna speak.
Mary's on.
Mary's
site.
on stuff.
Okay, so sorry I did not cover that earlier. We had yet another conversation on this morning. Guys, the NIAA needs, excuse me, needs every official to recognize what their main association is, okay? They call it your primary association. That is the association that you need to give your time and effort to. That's what they're asking you to do. You are all independent contractors. If you'd like to choose to work somewhere else, I can't stop you from that, and I won't. However, we need to ask you to please, again, prioritize your primary associations. I understand that there is one commissioner out there who is reaching out to people randomly on his own, assigning games or assigning them directly into games and all that kind of stuff. Again, it is your right to go and accept that game. The NIA is not going to stop you from doing so. At this time, they're choosing to recognize him as a commissioner, the same as everyone else. And so he has a right to handle his area how he will. So we are clear, your primary association is the one that you signed up with. That needs to be the primary association that will assign you your postseason slots.
I understand that. So all I'm going to do is he reached out to me. I'm just going to shoot off to Bill and Alden the dates he shot out. And if we don't have a lot of games, then I'll help him out. But
Perfect.
Otherwise, I'll just tell him no.
Perfect. Well, you guys need to realize 9 times out of 10, there are at any time 15% of Vegas officials not working. They're equally as close to all of those schools as we are.
Yeah.
So
no, that's fine. I don't want to.
It's not that we're not going to help them cover. He'll get coverage somewhere. And I totally appreciate anybody's willingness to do that. That's a perfect way to handle it. Let your assigners know, hey, these are the dates they're asking about. What do we look like? And go from there. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
So Alden, I think it was the 5th and the 12th, whatever those weekends are. So if you or Bill would look at our schedule and just tell me.
Send an email.
I will. All right.
Alden, Bill, anything else?
I just had one comment on the uniform thing. Let me find it here. What I was going to say was, when we talk about the uniforms, I mean, we talk about it every single year. Let's make it right. Let's don't be nitpicky on it. Yes, it's serious because it's a point of emphasis every single year. But this don't make it a game disruption thing. And then once we allow it, we got to live with it. So if you allow him to have his knee pads up, or you allow the quarterback to have his back dealy bobber out or whatever in the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, we're not going to send QB1 out in the fourth quarter. because his back brace is hanging out, or back pad, or whatever that thing is called, or his knee pads are up. So let's just use situational awareness on all that uniform stuff. You know, first quarter, after that, if we've let it go, we live with it. That's all I got.
I have one more question. Do we have extra mechanic books? Because I did not get one. I got the rule book, case book, and then the booklet. I never got a mechanics book. I don't know if we have to get those on our own or if we have some.
I will drop the mechanics manual into the WhatsApp again. It's online on the
Okay.
NNFOA page along with the Southern page. There's been a handful of emails where it's been sent out in, but I'll put it in that WhatsApp as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Actual book, you gotta print it out.
What's that, Bill?
There's no actual mechanics book. You have to print it out to get the book.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like 190 pages, Hugh. I have it just saved on my phone.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Printed at work, Hill.
Yep. 10-4. Papers free there.
All right, guys. See ya.
Anything else? All right. Have a good one. See you Wednesday.